Welcome back to this channel. It's Resident Internet Psychic Medium, Spiritual Advisor, Mr. Crane, and today we have something fun. We're going to be talking about dating. I have been waiting for somebody to give me a window to jump through because it's not my normal niche, but we got a question that came in that tied dating into the spiritual, and so here I am, stepping up to the plate. Before we jump into that, though, I have several announcements that I need to make. So first, for the tarot workshop that we're going to be doing in February, the link to sign up for that is now in the description box below. In 2024, I will be doing a number of events about different things and different topics. So just sort of keep an ear out for that because I'll be announcing them as I go because they have to be created and all that type of stuff. Also, I am now back to doing consultations. So for those of you that have been messaging me, because a lot of you have been messaging me, when are you going to start doing them again? It's been well over a year since I've offered consultations, but here we are back at it again, right? So we're now doing consultations. The way the consultations are set up this time is I am now your spiritual advisor, right? So if you will reach a point in life where you feel like you need understanding, you need clarity, right? You need assistance with coming to terms with where you're at in whatever stage of life that you're in, that is what the consultations are used for. There will be an element of reading tarot. There may be an element of mediumship if you have somebody that crosses through that wants to relay a message to you. There will always be some sort of psychic and intuitive guidance that goes into it. It is not a stereotypical tarot reading. That's not what we're doing. We are transforming lives, right? So if you are in a place where you're like, okay, I'm ready for a shift, I'm ready for a change, I need my spiritual advisor because I feel like I need some guidance, then that is the consultation for you. The modalities and the things that I use in order for us to reach the conclusions may change, shift, and may be a combination of all of those things, right? But we're really there to get you on track. Whatever it is that's going on in your life where you're like, I need an advisor because I don't know the next step, right? I don't know how else this needs to be looked at, this needs to be viewed, but I need assistance in that area. That is what the consultation is for, right? It is spiritual advisory, right? That has the different modalities that are mixed and intertwined in it. But the point of that consultation is to get you back on track. We also have astrology reports that are back. That was super popular and it went away for a while, so I'm bringing those back. So right now what we have available, we have the birth chart and natal reports. For those of you that have never had a birth chart reading, that is something that is available. We also have a 2024 year ahead report. This report is going to show you all of the energies that you're working with. So think about like a horoscope, right? And so you get a horoscope for Gemini. It's like that. However, it's super tailored to you specifically. It's individually tailored to you. And it's like hundreds of horoscopes, right? That'll get you through the year of 2024. And so it'll tell you the challenges, the energies that you're working with that may be challenges for you, the energies that you are working with that may be blessings for you. It'll give you a heads up as you're moving throughout your weeks in 2024. So that is also on offer too. They are also bundled. There's a third bundled option because some people want both, right? But they don't want to pay full price for both. So I bundled it. I do not believe that I will be having the 2024 year forecast for a long time. I think we'll do it now. We'll go through the end of January, and then I think I'll take it off because at that point, we're already kind of into the year at that point. So this is if you sort of want a heads up for your year. You can use it for the entire year, right? So literally every month, you're going to want to pull that out to see what you're going to be working with that month, what energies you're going to be working with, okay? I also, because I have absolutely no idea when you're going to stumble on this video, but I also was brainstorming perhaps maybe doing a live because I don't do those, but maybe for the beginning of the year where we can check into the energies that we're actually going to be working with for 2024. So if that's something that you guys would actually be interested in, let me know. Because if you're interested, then I'm interested. But if you're not interested, then I'm not interested. You got it? So My girl, the karmic Dia, has said, do you have any advice for dating after a spiritual awakening? Recovered people pleaser that now knows their worth, but has no idea where the line is between being empowered, confident versus being arrogant and rude. So the thing is, when you go through a sort of spiritual awakening and you start coming into yourself, you start understanding what truth means to you, you start looking around and you start realizing that this reality, the reality that's around you, is no longer the reality that you resonate with. That means that the people who existed inside of that reality you no longer resonate with too. What happens is, as we progress and as we move up, right? And a lot of times people in the spiritual community don't like to say moving up because we associate that with like a tier system, with a I'm better than you type of system. Whereas when I'm saying up, I'm referring to the elevation of frequency or moving up in vibration, right? That when we move up, that we now have to choose and pick partners that are now sitting at that higher vibration and vibrational or the frequency, the new frequency that we are at. A lot of times in the journey, we move up, but then we keep dating our type, right? Or our pattern or our mirror. And we keep dating the people that we were dating when we were at that previously low frequency. And we wondering why it's not working out. And then you will get situations where at that frequency, people may call you arrogant or they may call you rude, right? The lower frequency that you're at, those are where all the lower vibrational emotions and experiences exist, right? So the opposite of being empowered, right? Feeling disempowered, the lack of self love, no self confidence, low self esteem, feeling heavily insecure. Those are very low vibrational frequencies. And when you become someone that starts to love yourself, those things naturally start to heal because things like insecurity and low self esteem, those are a lot of times products of traumatic events, traumatic moments, right? Things that we have not healed, things that were not processed in our lifetime. And so it sits down there. And as you start to process those events and you start to heal, those blocks start being removed. So the thing that was blocking you from feeling self assured, from feeling self confident, is no longer existing. And so you naturally start to feel more confident, right? However, those people that are still existing in those low frequencies and those low vibrational states are not in the same place where they are also healing, learning, and growing. So the blocks that are creating an atmosphere for them that are making them feel disempowered, not confident, still exist. And at that point, you may become someone that they interpret to be arrogant or rude. And the reason why you're being interpreted as being arrogant or being rude is because someone that's at that frequency level does not know what it means to be confident. They don't know what it means to be confident because it's not a frequency level that they're at, which means it's not an experience that they're currently having, which means it's not something that they have an ability to relate to. Right. And so all they know is that in their world and in their narrative, people have a tendency to regularly confuse being confident for being arrogant, rude, cocky is a big one, right? And they're confusing the energies because they don't actually know how to relate to the energy that they're actually experiencing at that time. Also, if you are surrounded by a circle of people, let's say you date in a circle of friends, and you are someone that's coming out of that energy where you are learning to love yourself and you are learning to be confident and to see yourself for who you are and you are learning to grow, we have to understand that that journey is difficult. And it's also a journey that a lot of people wish that they can embark on. There's not a lot of people who recognize that maybe their self-esteem isn't where it needs to be. And then they go, oh, you know what? I actually really like it here. I'm going to stay right here. This is really great. This is really comfortable for me. And I'm not going to do any work to get out of it. What happens is that people don't actually know how to get out of it. It's not that they don't want to get out of it, because not feeling confident, not feeling good about yourself is actually a really uncomfortable feeling. And so there is a natural desire to want to leave that feeling, but not necessarily knowing or understanding the work that's required in order to get out of that place, right? And so they may see you successfully navigating out of that place and they may not like it. right? When people say that, oh, you're this and you're that, maybe you think too highly of yourself, or maybe you are cocky, or oh, that person, they're feeling themselves. A lot of times what you're doing is mirroring back to them what they wish they had in themselves. There is no, I don't care who you are, there's nobody on this earth that's mad at somebody for being confident. They're mad at themselves for not being able to be as confident as you are, right? Right? There's nobody on this earth that's mad at somebody else for being empowered. They just don't like the feeling that they feel when you turn around as the mirror and you reflect onto them that they are the disempowered one. It's the disempowerment that they don't like, that they're actually reacting to. They're actually reacting to themselves. They're not actually reacting towards you. However, it is really easily to take it personally when no one is telling you what's actually happening in that experience. Now, what do you do about it now that you are new and transformed and highly evolved? You make sure that the people that you are dating are also evolved too, right? You allow your energy to be the beacon that attracts in the energy of people who are healed or focused on their healing or focused on their growth. And you can do that by setting an intention. You set the intention that maybe you want somebody who is focused on their healing, or you want someone that's focused on your growth, but you also set the intention that you want someone who can give you the space and the honor to focus on your own healing and on your own growth. So every time you reach a milestone, you don't have somebody that's sitting there calling you arrogant and rude because you're just learning how to love yourself and they don't know how to love themselves, right? And then now they're over here throwing wrenches in your plan. Wrenches? Yeah, that's right. Throwing wrenches in your plan, right? And then making you feel like you're the bad guy when you were never actually the bad guy to begin with. So it's about allowing yourself to now match a new mate, a new kind of partner, right? Allowing yourself to stop being the mirror for those people and allowing yourself to turn around and be a mirror for somebody else, be a mirror for somebody that's on a similar wavelength, on a similar trajectory, a similar path of love. Now, when I say similar path, I'm not talking about someone that's on a spiritual path. Because sometimes what happens is that people go, oh, I think now that I'm coming into my own, I need to date someone that's more spiritual than I am, or at the same level that I am, or someone that understands like what I'm doing spiritually, but that's not necessarily the case. Not everybody is going to resonate with that, right? But there are people who do not pursue an actively spiritual lifestyle who vibrate at a higher love frequency, right? For example, my fiance, he is not someone that I would consider, well, he's definitely not woo-woo, right? I'm the woo-woo one. He is not woo-woo at whatsoever. But when I met him, one thing I've noticed about him, because this was an aspect that he taught me in my life, was that he was a very loving individual. He had a love of everything, a love of life, a love of experiences, a love of creating new memories, a love of kind people, a love of food. He was just a very loving individual. And because of that, he just had a much higher vibration. And so when I'm over here healing, right, clawing my way through my own personal trauma, right, he has an ability to grant the space that I need in order for me to continue through my healing, simply because he's a loving individual. And through loving, he understands, okay, she is in a spot right now where she's growing and she just needs that space, right? But he is not someone that is woo-woo. Don't think that he is someone that would ever be woo-woo, but he does have a higher frequency and a higher vibration. And he is actually someone that taught me a lot about love and what love actually meant, right? And so when you are looking for that partner, you're looking for a partner that's existing on a higher vibrational frequency. So is it love? Is it peace? Right? And so how are some ways this can manifest? Some people really love the earth. You find people all the time that are like, they love like sort of a homestead lifestyle, right? They're not woo-woo to say the least, but they care about the environment, and because they know that it matters, right? They care about animals, they care about sustainability. So their frequency is their vibration is high. It may be higher on a different kind of, I don't know, plane or avenue, because it may not be something that you may be interested in, right? But it's still higher than maybe somebody else who couldn't give a damn about the environment. And so I'm giving that as an example. That doesn't mean that that is the person that you go find. If you're not interested in that, you're not interested in that. But I'm trying to just give examples of how it can manifest itself in life. You have to start picking a different kind of partner, because when you do that, you are no longer arrogant and you are no longer rude. They just view you as being someone that's confident and self-empowered. And a lot of people find confidence and self-empowerment incredibly sexy. Incredibly sexy. The people that you used to date prior to your spiritual awakening, they are on a lower vibration. You guys are no longer a match. Right? And so, yeah, when you are dealing with these people, you're going to hit these areas of very severe incompatibility, right? And so you have to date higher, my dear. You must go up. That is the answer. That's a very long-winded answer to your question. It's time for you to go up. I actually had this problem in my journey as well. In the very beginning, having men call me rude, call me arrogant. I got cocky. A lot of people, a lot of men called me cocky too. When I was trying to date, when I was learning what was for me, what wasn't for me, what I was going to tolerate, not tolerate. It was easier at that point. Like when you come into that place, it's easier for you to identify situations that aren't actual authentic love, right? Like those are not authentic displays of love, care, and affection. It's easier to identify that. And when you're dealing with people that are sitting on a lower vibration where they don't know how to relate to the vibration of love, they can't yet identify those things. And so when you start calling it out, they take offense to it. And now they take it personally. And then, yeah, then you become the arrogant and the rude one. But then when I moved up, when I started dating up, in frequency, I stopped having that problem. And I noticed that people didn't call me that. I only would get called things like that when I was hanging out with people that I should not have been hanging out with, when the vibrations and the frequencies weren't an energetic match. But the moment I started to find people that were more energetic matches, I never got that from people again. I do get it occasionally in the comments, but again, those people, they're not energetic matches. But that's what it is. You got to go up. You got to dig up. Got to date up. You got to date up. How do you know if you're dating up? You'll feel it. So if you're in a situation, if you're like, well, I don't really know like what that would look like, you would sense it. You would feel it from that person, right? You can ask people. There's so many questions that you can ask. I'm trying to think of, and an easy way to do that is simply by asking someone, how do they view love? How do you view love? How do you view relationships? If you met the person of your dreams, how would you treat them? How would you want them to feel when they're around you? Right? Those answers will give you a pretty clear idea on whether or not you feel like their definition of what love is, it has evolved enough to reach your definition of what you view love is. Is it the same to you? Right? Or is it in a place where it's like, oh, fuck love? Because people say that too. And there's also nothing wrong with that, right? Like sometimes you're just in a place, sometimes you're healing, right? I was in that place too where I would say things like that. And that was because I was hurt and I was in a place and then I was healing, right? But when I think about when you are finally ready to fall in love with someone and you meet that person and that person says, well, fuck love. Is that the one you want to be with? It's possible that person's that frequency isn't in alignment with where you want it to be in order for you to go find love for yourself, right? It doesn't mean that they're not spiritual. It doesn't mean that they have an overall low vibration, but when it comes to that aspect of things, maybe it's lower than where your vibration is at that moment, right? And so if that's the case, you know that where they are and where you are not a match because it's not an energetic alignment, and it's simply time that you go up another step. So I hope that makes sense. I hope that was helpful. And, you know, I'm going to leave the video there. As always, though, guys, if you do like what you see, please subscribe. Help me, please subscribe. Check out that description box. There's a lot of juicy things down there. And if I don't see you again, I'll see you next lifetime.